Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacob. I'm going to be talking about Mongrels by Stephen Graham Jones. I guess I'm pronouncing that right. Maybe it's Stephen. I think it's Stephen. I've been wanting to talk about this book for a while. I actually recently reread it. I read it and then was going to review it, and then I read it again because I liked it so much. If you've been watching this channel for any period of time, you know how I constantly lament the fact that there's not a lot of great werewolf horror novels, because a lot of werewolf books kind of turn to the wayside of urban fantasy, which is fine if you like urban fantasy. I like urban fantasy, but sometimes I just want a straight up werewolf horror novel. You kind of get that with this, but I think honestly this is the best of both worlds, because the fact that the family featured in this are werewolves is terrifying, and they do some monstrous things, but they also are very much humanized in a way that people dealing with an affliction out of their control, are. And in a lot of ways, it's also delving into what I think Stephen Graham Jones really sets up what a subculture of American werewolves would be more like realistically. In this, they're always on the move. They have to take, very low paying, usually minimum wage jobs, things they can quit before moving on to the next place, because any full moon freak out, or if they can't control their wolf form, they have to constantly be on the move in case something like that happens. One thing I will add that I thought was really interesting too, that he hints at, is that they can actually breed with regular dogs, and that makes like these monstrosities, these like half, canine, half people things. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and it definitely adds like a new level of horror, I thought, because, think of like dealing with that, right? They have to then go hunt down these like feral, half human, half like canine creatures that they describe, and that's what they do. They always clean up after themselves. And while they do allude that there are other packs, they mostly kind of tend to themselves. Families stay within families, and so on and so on. Because there is a lot of issues within the werewolf families, right? A lot of class issues, because they aren't able to really have stable lives. They aren't really able to have nice things. Issues fitting in with any type of, bigger social groups. Issues fitting in with humans. Obviously, they don't want people to learn their secrets. And then the issue of being an outsider of an outsider, which the main character begins as, because, he starts off as a child who, hasn't turned into a werewolf and doesn't think they're going to. So what do you do when you're a human being raised by werewolves, essentially? And I thought that was very interesting. Just that emotional turmoil the main character goes through for so much of this book, and also kind of seeing how his family changes throughout the books as their wants change, and their needs change. It was very interesting, and I think very well done. Obviously, it's not a straight up horror novel, right? It's not one of those werewolves descend on the town and kill everybody, but it's more from the side of like the werewolves trying to find a way to survive in a modern society that they don't fit into, that they can't fit into. And I thought it was masterfully done. I would love to see a movie or a series about this. It really gave me, I'm gonna mess this movie up, and I am so sorry. I think it was like the Hamiltons or something. But basically, if anyone knows the name of it, please let me know below. But it was more of like an indie movie, but it was about a family of vampires that lived in like a suburban home. and the youngest wasn't quite a vampire yet, but he still helped them take people, and it was depicted as like a virus, and they had to drink blood to survive, but they weren't like the immortal vampires. They were just people that were just a little more than normal people. So it was more like a slow horror, if that makes sense. And that's kind of what I felt this was, right? I mean, these guys are werewolves that are just trying to have a semi-normal life that they can't seem to have. So there's always this tension, you know, whenever the main character is describing something going as good, because you know it's going to fall apart, right? You know someone's going to turn when they shouldn't and, you know, do something. Or even if they don't turn, right? They still have those werewolf urges and that werewolf anger. So like maybe they're going to get in a fight, or maybe they're going to get in trouble with the law. You know what I mean? They're going to do something. Or maybe they quit their job and now they can't eat, and now the wolf's hungry and they got to figure something out. So maybe they're going to go poach, right? There's so much stuff in here that I just didn't see coming. And also, like, I'm a sucker for a road trip novel, and a lot of this is kind of a road trip novel because a lot of it is them packing up and going to a new place and hoping it's going to be better. And I honestly just can't say enough good things about this book. It was my first entry into Stephen Graham Jones, who has written a plethora of horror novels that have been getting a whole bunch of acclaim. So yeah, I mean, definitely check out Mongrels if you haven't. If you love werewolf horror novels or road trip novels, or maybe you just like, I don't know. But check this out. I can't recommend it enough. It's a super good book. If you have read it, please let me know how you felt about it in the comments below. And as always, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.